diverse a metal festival is, the less burnt out the crowd gets and the more open-minded they are. So as long as they're, as long as they're diverse festivals, it always works out. If we're just gonna, if we're leaving home for like a weekend or just flying out for something quick, festival, I always prefer a festival, but we're actually doing our own tour. I mean, the intimacy of a club is, that energy is impossible to recreate. Like even the bands that I like that I've seen earlier today, it's not quite the same experience as when I was younger and I saw them play. Like I remember seeing Good Riddance play at a club, being sweaty in like the third row. It's just not the same experience. But they still play great.
A pretty big month. A lot of photographs.
Well,
are you wrapping up the album? Or?
Yeah, what it is we record ourselves for till we have an album that we're basically done with. It's our recorded version of it, and then we take that to your producer and we say, okay, let's re-record the whole thing now with your twist on it. And that's what happened. We recorded all of the album starting in January. We started just a couple songs at a time, and then May came around and we had the whole thing done and worked with Bill Stevenson. And we're done tracking it, and we're in the mixing phase now.
Okay. Do you have a title selected yet? Or?
Yeah, but we're kind of on the fence, so not really ready to announce.
Okay. And speaking of Bill Stevenson, he's got a punk background.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a shift in your style then?
No, I think what it was more so is that the five of us, we always need like a tiebreaker. If there's a song arrangement or it's always small stuff that a producer really contributes to our band. And so with Bill, he's just enough outside the box that he's not going to look at it like the other 20 metal bands I recorded this year, this is what we did. I don't want that answer. I want the answer of the overall energy of the song and seeing the big picture. And he's definitely very, very good at seeing the big picture.
Specific bass and you only use it for the heavy parts, and then it was said that that's pretty much the whole album. So how heavy are you guys going?
No, it's one of those things where, like our last album, I thought instrumentally was like our heaviest album, but vocally we had a lot of melody, so it's like it's very subjective. I feel like if you if I make big claims about what our album is going to sound like, it's always going to end up in the listener's opinion anyway.
That self-fulfilling prophecy type of thing.
I think that this album is just a better album, and I think our last album was one of those ones that had layers we had to listen to it a few times, to really get the whole album. This one I think is more of a first one or two listens is really just. Everybody that we showed it to so far is like, these songs just really stand out right away. So that's a good feeling. Maybe the bad side of that is that after 5 or 6 listens, you'd be like, oh, okay, well, it's catchy and I know what it is, but it's I'm tired of it.
People like the stuff that they like though. If you get it right away, you want to listen to it.
Yeah, totally. So we can just be proud of it ourselves and then hope the best for the reaction.
Yeah.
I'm not a pervert.
Yeah, I originally intended to record that the next chance I got, like a break in the As the Dying schedule, and then we were so busy working on the album that I thought I'd have a month off or something, but we didn't really end up having that.
Okay.
So I guess next time I get that time off.
And if you feel like working.
I'm a little bit of a workaholic, so I probably will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And going back to an old blog post that you did 7 months ago about the fan-band interaction.
Right.
Do you still have the same view as you did when you wrote that?
Yeah, I see bands at every festival. Festivals are probably the best example of some of the best sounding bands having the smallest crowds at time, or some of the worst billing on the festival. And it's this festival might be an exception, but sometimes the band has the hype and the look and the singer with a lot of Twitter followers or whatever, like those bands, tend, I think, to do well mainly because of their image rather than their substance, and it's just a reality I've come to grips with in the last year or so. I accept that for the longevity of a band's career, it really still does come down to their music, and I have to believe in that. But I think for like the immediate hype of who's big right here and right now in this moment, so much of that comes down to who's putting the coolest pictures and whatever online. You know what I mean? So.
Naked photos leaking and stuff like that.
I think our fans are smart enough to know when it's genuine. And I've never been like the most, I don't know, attention starved, like like guy that updates 5 times a day kind of person. And I also think that attention starved, like constant updating thing is kind of annoying for me. So I just try to keep it, just do as much as I can while still being sincere.
Mm-hmm. Do you like to keep your distance, like your personal life, somewhat separated from your professional life?
In theory, I would like to, but I also find it comfortable answering any question. If we meet a fan after a show and they have a question for me, I'm comfortable answering that. I guess I don't just go out of my way to spill my guts, but I'm fine with it. Yeah.
Okay. What do you do when you're on the road on tour to stay in shape?
This is kind of a sad reality, but I gain muscle and weight when I'm home, go on tour and I lose it, and I gain it back, and it's just this cycle of, it's kind of frustrating, but it gives me like a new goal every time I get home.
Right.
I mean, I do the best I can, prison style, you can put your feet up against the wall and do handstand push-ups or whatever. I mean, that kind of stuff. It's all right. It's definitely not my preferred way of working out. But
do you have a nutrition plan while you're on the road?
That's actually probably the main reason I lose weight is that it's just impossible to get the kind of food that I need to be getting. So I mean, most of the junk that served in catering or all the snacks we get in our rider, it's all just you can't really maintain a muscular build with that kind of food.
Right. Just to wrap it up, then, who's the mommy of the whole band?
Our drummer Jordan really gets into logistics and stuff. So when it comes to making sure everybody's packed up properly, he gets into that. I don't know if that makes him. It kind of makes him. No, but he's very meticulous about everything. So I guess it makes him like the organized guy in the bunch. I hate pinpointing somebody as the mommy, but I guess we've got a tour manager, so I mean, really, it's his job to make sure that we get everywhere on time.
Yeah.
But, he's a very, very old friend of ours, so he understands our personalities and can put up with us.